For most of history, wealth followed power. Today, power follows systems. What once existed as Black Wall Street in Tulsa was not just a neighborhood. It was a blueprint, a concentration of ownership, circulation, and collective economic momentum that challenged the very structure of American capitalism. That blueprint was destroyed, but it was never erased. Across different cities and industries, a new generation of Black visionaries is rebuilding that model, not as a single location, but as a distributed economic strategy. Markets, technology platforms, real estate, finance, energy, and global capital networks are quietly being assembled into something far more resilient than the past. This is not a literal rebirth, it's an evolution. Today, we explore how modern Black wealth is being structured, scaled, and positioned for long-term power, and why many see it as the closest thing yet to a new Black Wall Street. Number 8. The new Black Wall Street market, Stonecrest, Georgia. We begin our journey where the legacy is most visible, in Stonecrest, Georgia, just 20 minutes east of Atlanta. While the original Greenwood district was destroyed, the spirit of it has found a new physical home in the form of the new Black Wall Street market. This is not a shopping mall, it is an economic statement. Developed by the Allen Entrepreneurial Institute, this development was born from a specific vision: to create a safe haven for Black commerce that mimics the original Greenwood ethos. The project transformed a defunct Target big box store into a sprawling Tudor-style marketplace that houses over 100 minority-owned businesses. But why does this land at number 8? Because it represents the incubator phase of the new economy. In the original Tulsa, wealth was created because the grocer, the tailor, the pilot, and the doctor were all neighbors. The new Black Wall Street market replicates this density. It creates an ecosystem where you can buy art, get tailored suits, purchase gourmet groceries, and bank with Black-owned institutions, all under one roof. The visionary behind this, Leicester Bill Allen, didn't just want to be a landlord. He wanted to solve the distribution problem. Black entrepreneurs often have incredible products, but lack the high-traffic real estate to sell them. By anchoring this market in Stonecrest, a city that is nearly 93% Black and one of the wealthiest African-American municipalities in the nation, Allen bypassed the gatekeepers of traditional retail. This project is the physical proof that the Buy Black movement can scale beyond Instagram hashtags into tangible real estate. It generates millions in local revenue, but more importantly, it serves as the training ground for the next generation of moguls. It is the University of Commerce for the New South. But while Stonecrest is rebuilding the market on the ground, our next visionary is building the skyline in the clouds across the Atlantic Ocean. Number 7. Nana Kwame Bediako, Accra, Ghana. If you want to see the future of Black wealth, you have to look east. In Ghana, a man known as Cheddar, Nana Kwame Bediako, is not just developing real estate, he is rebranding a continent. Bediako is the founder of the Quarles Group, and his vision is arguably the most audacious on this list. He believes that for Black wealth to be truly sovereign, it must have its own industrial base in Africa. His wealth began in the scrappy streets of London, selling clothes and buying scrap metal, but today, he is the developer behind some of Accra's most iconic luxury structures, including number 1, Oxford Street and Quarles Residence. These aren't just apartment buildings, they are architectural marvels that rival anything in Dubai or Miami. But his luxury condos are just the funding mechanism for his true ambition, Petronia City. Petronia City is a proposed 2,000-acre industrial park in the western region of Ghana. The vision? To create a self-sustaining hub for oil, gas, and mining industries that is fully integrated into the African economy. Bediako is betting on the return, the massive influx of African Americans and diasporans moving back to the continent. He calls this the New Africa. In interviews, Bediako speaks with the intensity of a revolutionary. He argues that Africa has exported its resources for too long and that the new Black Wall Street must be built on adding value to those resources at home. His New Force movement is pushing for a continental industrial revolution. By connecting the capital of Black America with the land and resources of Ghana, Bediako is building the bridge that Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey only dreamed of. His net worth is estimated in the hundreds of millions, but his impact is measured in the thousands of diasporans who now see Accra not as a charity case, but as an investment frontier. He is proving that the next Wall Street might not have a wall at all. It might have a beach view in West Africa. But while Bediako builds the cities, our next titan builds the platforms that allow business to happen in the first place. Number 6. Tope Awotona, Atlanta, Georgia. If the original Black Wall Street was built on bricks, the new one is built on code. And in the digital economy, time is the most valuable currency. The man who conquered time is Tope Awotona. Awotona is the founder and CEO of Calendly, the scheduling software that has become the default operating system for modern business. His story is the quintessential immigrant triumph. Born in Lagos, Nigeria, Awotona watched his father, a microbiologist and entrepreneur, get carjacked and murdered when Tope was just a child. That trauma didn't break him. It fueled a relentless drive to succeed on his own terms. He moved to the US, studied at the University of Georgia, and spent years grinding in software sales for companies like EMC and IBM. He tried 3 startups. All of them failed. He poured his life savings, his 401k, and maxed out his credit cards to build Calendly because he was simply tired of the back-and-forth emails required to set up a meeting. It was a simple problem, but the solution was worth billions. Today, Calendly is valued at over $3 billion. What makes Awotona a pillar of the new Black Wall Street is his ownership structure. Unlike many tech founders who dilute their shares early to get venture capital, Awotona bootstrapped Calendly for years. He refused to give up control. This means that when the company exploded in value, the wealth didn't just go to Sand Hill Road investors, it stayed with him. He is one of the wealthiest Black tech founders in history, with a personal net worth estimated at $1.4 billion. He operates out of Atlanta, reinforcing the city's status as the Silicon Peach. Awotona represents the shift from consumer to creator. He proves that Black wealth isn't just about being a celebrity endorser. It's about owning the utility that the entire world relies on. Every time a Fortune 500 CEO, a university professor, or a small business owner schedules a meeting, they are paying a toll to a Black-owned digital empire. But technology needs a voice. And the man at number 5 doesn't just want a voice. He wants the microphone, the camera, and the broadcast tower. Number 5. Byron Allen, Los Angeles. In the original Tulsa, the Black press was powerful, but it was local. Byron Allen looked at that model and decided it was too small. He didn't want a Black newspaper. He wanted to own the news itself. Byron Allen is the founder, chairman, and CEO of Allen Media Group, and he is arguably the most aggressive buyer of media assets in the 21st century. His strategy is economic inclusion via litigation and acquisition. Allen started as a comedian, sitting on Johnny Carson's couch at 18 years old. But while he was making people laugh, he was studying how show business actually worked. He realized that the real money wasn't in telling jokes, it was in selling the airtime between them. He started by giving away his TV shows for free to networks in exchange for the advertising inventory, which he then sold himself. It was a stroke of genius that allowed him to build a war chest without massive debt. Today, he owns the Weather Channel, the Griot, HBCU Go, and dozens of local television stations across America. He invested over $1 billion in just a few years to acquire these assets. But Allen is on this list because of his visionary legal strategy. He sued corporate giants like McDonald's and General Motors, not for discrimination in the traditional sense, but for economic exclusion. He forced them to confront the fact that they spent billions on advertising but pennies with Black-owned media. He didn't just win settlements, he changed the industry standard. He forced corporate America to open its checkbook to the new Black Wall Street. Allen's philosophy is simple. I don't want a seat at the table, I want to own the restaurant. By controlling the distribution pipes, the TV stations, and the streaming apps, Byron Allen ensures that Black stories aren't just told, but that they are monetized by Black owners. He is building a media fortress that protects the culture from being erased or exploited. But while Allen controls the airwaves, our next visionary controls the very engine of the global economy: energy. Number 4. Case Lawal, Houston, Texas. When we talk about wealth, we usually talk about millions. When Case Lawal walks into a room, we are talking about resources. Case Lawal is the founder of Kamak Energy, now Aaron Energy, and he is one of the few black men in history to control an oil exploration company with licenses to drill deep-water wells. Born in Ibadan, Nigeria, Lawal came to America for college and ended up in Houston, the energy capital of the world. He didn't start in oil, he started in chemicals and tobacco trading. But he saw that the real game was in the extraction of value from the earth. In the late 1990s and 2000s, Lawal built Kamak into a multi-billion-dollar revenue giant. At its peak, it was the second-largest black-owned business in the United States, right behind worldwide technology. Why is he a rebuilder? Because Lawal mastered the art of reverse globalization. Most Western companies go to Africa to extract resources and leave. Lawal used his American education and connections to partner with African governments, creating a bridge where African resources generated wealth that flowed back into black-owned institutions in both Texas and Nigeria. He faced immense challenges, including geopolitical instability and volatile oil markets, but his blueprint remains the gold standard for high-level industrial capitalism. Lawal sits on university boards and has advised U.S. presidents on trade policy. He represents a level of wealth that is rarely seen on television: the industrialist class. He proves that the new Black Wall Street must include heavy industry. It cannot just be apps and entertainment. It must be oil, gas, shipping, and logistics. It must be the things that make the physical world move. Lawal's success proves that mastering an industry requires deep, technical knowledge. If you want to understand the economic principles that allow leaders like him to build billion-dollar systems, I've tagged a curated list of essential business biographies and wealth-building books right here. Click the View Products button on screen. These books are the toolkit for modern empire builders. Now, we move from the energy sector to the nervous system of commerce. Banking. Number 3. Tony Elumelu, Lagos, Nigeria. The original Black Wall Street relied on its own banks. The new Black Wall Street relies on Tony Elumelu. Elumelu is the chairman of the United Bank for Africa, UBA, which operates in 20 African countries: London, Paris, and New York. He is not just a banker, he is the father of Africapitalism. This is the philosophy that drives the visionaries on this list. Africapitalism posits that the private sector, not foreign aid or government charity, is the key to unlocking Africa's potential. It argues for long-term investments that create both economic prosperity and social wealth. Elumelu's rise is legendary. In his early 30s, he took a distressed, failing bank in Nigeria, Standard Trust Bank, and turned it profitable within months. He then led the largest merger in Nigerian corporate history to create the modern UBA. But his place on this list is secured by the Tony Elumelu Foundation. He committed $100 million of his own money to identify, train, and fund 10,000 African entrepreneurs over 10 years. He realized that a Wall Street needs companies to list on it. By funding thousands of startups across the continent, he is literally manufacturing the next generation of clients for his bank. It is a masterstroke of long-term strategy. Elumelu walks with presidents and kings, but his focus is on the missing middle, the small and medium enterprises that create jobs. He is building the financial plumbing that allows a sneaker designer in Lagos to sell to a customer in Atlanta. He represents the financial sovereignty of the new Black Wall Street. He is proof that black wealth does not need to ask for permission to exist. It just needs its own banks to fund it. But banks need assets to finance. And the most tangible asset in the world is real estate. The next man on our list doesn't just buy buildings, he changes the skyline. Number 2. R. Donahue Peebles, Miami and New York. In the game of American real estate, the barriers to entry are high, and the club is exclusive. Don Peebles didn't ask to join the club. He built his own. Don Peebles is the founder of the Peebles Corporation, the largest Black-owned real estate development firm in the United States. His portfolio includes multi-billion-dollar projects in New York, Boston, Miami, Los Angeles, and Washington, D.C. Peebles is the architect of a strategy he calls affirmative development. He realized that cities and governments own massive amounts of land. He also realized that these cities have diverse populations but predominantly white contractors. Peebles positioned himself as the solution, a developer who could build world-class luxury projects while guaranteeing that 30% to 50% of the contracts went to minority-owned businesses. This wasn't charity, it was competitive advantage. It allowed him to win bids against the established giants of real estate. Take the Bath Club in Miami or the Angels Landing project in Los Angeles. These are billion-dollar developments that redefine the city, and they are led by a Black man. Peebles is a vocal critic of the wealth gap, and he uses his developments to close it. He argues that access to capital is the civil rights issue of our time. His net worth is estimated at over $700 million, but his influence is in the billions. He is currently launching a fund specifically designed to provide capital to minority developers who are usually shut out by traditional banks. Peebles represents the owner class of the new Black Wall Street. He proves that we don't just have to live in the city. We can own the dirt underneath it. And finally, we arrive at the apex. The man who has scaled the mountain of capitalism higher than any other Black American in history. Number 1. Robert F. Smith, Denver. If the new Black Wall Street has a chairman, it is Robert F. Smith. With a net worth estimated at $10 billion, Smith is the wealthiest Black person in America. But the number that really matters is $100 billion. That is the amount of assets his firm, Vista Equity Partners, manages. Smith is an engineer by training. He applied the logic of chemical engineering to the chaotic world of enterprise software. He realized that software companies were not magic. They were factories that produced code. By standardizing how these companies ran, he could make them incredibly profitable. Since founding Vista in 2000, his firm has generated returns that blow away the competition on Wall Street. He didn't just compete with the big boys, he beat them. But Smith is number 1 on this list because of his 2% solution. Smith stunned the world when he paid off the student loan debt for the entire graduating class of Morehouse College in 2019. It was a $34 million gift. But to him, it was a pilot program. He is pushing corporate America to commit 2% of their annual net income to empower minority communities. He argues that this capital injection would structurally repair the damage done by centuries of exclusion. Smith operates with a level of sophistication that is rare. He is the chairman of Carnegie Hall. He is a major player in the global economy. He is the ultimate proof that Black competence, when applied to high finance, is unbeatable. Smith is not just rebuilding a street. He is buying the digital infrastructure of the world. Vista Equity owns dozens of software companies that power everything from hospitals to schools to governments. This is the ultimate evolution of the dream. In 1921, they burned down a street of shops. In 2024, Robert F. Smith owns the software that runs the economy. You can't burn that down. From tech platforms that control time and access, to real estate that anchors communities, to capital strategies that operate across borders, this new phase of Black wealth is less about symbolism and more about infrastructure. Not every vision will succeed. Not every project will scale. But together, they reveal a shift away from individual success and towards system-level ownership. That's how lasting power is built. If you value deep, strategic breakdowns of Black wealth, influence, and the structures shaping the future, make sure to subscribe to Black Status. More stories like this are coming next, and you won't want to miss what's already being built.